Ethan Cole never imagined his quiet life would place him inside a glowing alien hall, surrounded by hundreds of beings who did not even breathe the same air as him. Yet here he stood, adjusting the borrowed collar, a ceremonial robe he barely understood, while strange music hummed to the air like soft electricity. The hall was huge, shaped like a crystal cave, with walls that shimmered in greens and golds. Every surface moved as if alive. Even the floor pulsed under Ethan's boots, like a gentle heartbeat. He tried not to stare, but everything around him demanded attention. Tall blue guests with 4 eyes whispered to each other. Silver-skinned dancers glided across the floating platforms. A giant insect-like man carried a glowing box as a wedding gift. Even the children looked like tiny walking stars with bright, sparkling skin. Ethan kept reminding himself, "You're just a guest. Don't do anything stupid. Don't embarrass Earth." He had only been invited because he saved a Zarati transport ship from crashing months ago. The groom, Captain Ralvek, insisted that Ethan attend his wedding on the moon city of Trivra as an honored guest. Ethan had no idea what to expect, but he never expected danger. The ceremony had not even started, and Ethan already felt eyes on him. Some aliens looked shocked to see a human. Others looked annoyed. A few looked curious, leaning closer as if they wanted to smell him. Ethan tried to smile. It did not help. Suddenly, the lights in the hall shifted from gold to deep red. Music changed. Guests quieted. The opening of the wedding procession was about to begin, but then they heard a sound, a low growl. It echoed through the hall like thunder rolling in a cave. Several guests froze. A few stepped back. Ethan, confused, looked around. "What was that?" he whispered. No one answered. Instead, the tall crystal doors at the far end opened slowly, letting out a cold rush of air. Ethan shivered. The temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees instantly. From the shadows, a group of tall women stepped forward. They looked humanoid, but their beauty was unreal, too perfect, too smooth, too sharp. Their eyes glowed a deep crimson, and their skin had a pale shimmer, like moonlight on water. Long, dark hair floated behind them, even when there was no wind. The hall whispered a single name, the Vriller. Ethan swallowed hard. He had heard that name during the briefing. The Vriller were an ancient clan, royalty, warriors, and something else. Something people didn't say aloud. Not quite a myth, not quite a truth. The lead woman stepped forward. She moved slowly, like a queen entering her throne room. Her dress was dark and smooth, flowing like liquid shadow. She was beautiful, impossibly beautiful, too beautiful. Her crimson eyes landed on Ethan, and she smiled. Ethan felt a cold shock go down his spine. Her smile was soft, elegant, and dangerous, like a wild predator pretending to be polite. The other guests bowed. Ethan realized too late he should bow too, so he quickly leaned forward, nearly tripping over his own feet. A few aliens laughed softly. The Vriller woman did not. She walked toward him. Each step was silent. Each move felt like it pulled the air with her. When she finally stood in front of him, Ethan felt like the whole hall had gone silent. Even the glowing walls dimmed. "You must be the human," she said. Her voice was smooth and warm, but carried a strange echo. "Yes," Ethan said, trying to hold his composure. "Ethan Cole. I am Lady Syraxa of the Vriller clan." Her eyes moved slowly over him, studying him, judging him. "It is unusual to see a human here." "I was invited," Ethan said, "by the groom." "I know," she said softly. "I can smell it." Ethan froze. "Smell what?" Syraxa leaned slightly closer, as if testing something in the air. Her expression changed for a moment. Interest, surprise, something else Ethan couldn't read. Then she offered him her hand. A chilling silence swept across the hall. Even the groom paused mid-sentence at the ceremonial platform. "Will you dance, human?" Syraxa asked. Ethan stared. "Dance? Now?" "It is our custom," she said. "The Vriller choose someone to share the opening dance with, a symbol of trust." Her smile widened slightly. "And tonight I choose you." Ethan felt every eye in the hall locking onto him. The music changed again, soft, haunting, like drifting smoke. He knew he should refuse. Humans were fragile compared to most aliens, and the Vrilla were known for strength far beyond normal beings. The dance might be gentle, or it might be dangerous. He didn't know, but refusing a Vriller could be worse. Ethan looked around helplessly. No one moved to save him. Even Captain Ralvek looked shocked, unsure what to do. Then Ethan took a slow breath. "I would be honored," he said. Saraxa's red eyes gleamed with something unreadable. She lifted his hand gently, but her touch was cold as ice. As she led him toward the center of the hall, whispers followed them. Why did she choose a human? Is he safe? She never chooses outsiders. Is he going to survive this? Ethan heard all of it, and Saraxa heard it too, because she softly whispered to him, "Don't worry, human. I won't bite, not today." Ethan's heart nearly stopped. The music rose. The dance began, and his night at the alien wedding was about to turn into something no human had ever survived or understood. Ethan tried to calm his shaking hands as Lady Saraxa guided him toward the center of the crystal hall. The strange alien music swirled around them, soft, slow, and almost sad. The light above dimmed, leaving only a faint silver glow that followed Saraxa like a spotlight. Guests stepped back, forming a large circle. No one else dared join the floor. Ethan swallowed hard. Great. A human dancing alone with an alien vampire queen. Nothing strange here. But the moment Saraxa turned toward him, all of Ethan's jokes vanished. Her crimson eyes glowed brighter now, almost reflecting his face back at him. She lifted her hand. Waiting, Ethan placed his hand in hers. Cold, soft, strong. Saraxa's other hand settled against his shoulder. Light, but sharp, like a blade ready to cut through fabric if she wished. Ethan placed his hand at her waist, surprised to feel warmth beneath the cold surface of her gown, as if two temperatures lived inside her. The music began a slow rhythm. Saraxa moved first. Her steps were fluid, almost floating, and Ethan found himself pulled gently into motion. She guided him, but not forcefully, more like she was showing him a path and trusting him to follow. "You move well for someone who is afraid," Saraxa said softly. Ethan nearly stumbled. "I'm not afraid." A small smile formed at the corner of her lips. "Lying does not help you." He sighed. "Okay, maybe a little. Fear keeps you alive," she said. "It is not shameful." Her voice was calm, not mocking. In a strange way, it comforted him. As they danced, the hall watched in complete silence. Even the living walls seemed frozen. Some guests whispered questions. Others simply stared, trying to understand why a Vriller noblewoman chose a human, one of the physically weakest species known to the galaxy. But Ethan noticed something else. Saraxa wasn't watching them. She was studying him. Her eyes moved carefully across his face, reading every tiny reaction, every breath, every line of tension. "What are you looking for?" Ethan asked. "A truth," she said. "A reason. A spark." "That doesn't answer anything." "No," Sarax admitted. "It does not. Not yet." She spun him gently. A simple move, but her strength made it feel like the air itself pushed him. Ethan tried to stay relaxed, to follow her steps, but his heart pounded fast, loud enough he feared she might hear it. Saraxa leaned closer. "Your pulse is strange. Softer, warmer. Humans are very alive." "That's kind of the point," Ethan muttered. She laughed. A quiet, gentle sound. Not evil. Not threatening. Just unexpected. For a moment, Ethan let himself relax. The dance was beautiful, slow, graceful, dreamlike. He moved more confidently now, matching her steps as best he could. Saraxa nodded approvingly each time he kept up. But then, everything changed. A loud crack echoed across the hall. The music stopped. The lights brightened. And 3 armored guards rushed forward from the far entrance, sliding across the floor with heavy metallic boots. "Lady Saraxa," the lead guard shouted. "Step away from the human." The crowd gasped. Saraxa did not move. She didn't even turn her head. Ethan froze. "What's happening now?" The guard tried again, more desperate. "My lady, please. He is not of your clan." This dance is forbidden. Syrax's expression turned cold. Colder than any ice Ethan had ever felt. Her grip on his hand tightened slightly, though she didn't hurt him. Who decides what is forbidden? Syraxa asked softly. The guard bowed deeply. The elders, they will not approve. The clans are watching. The treaty. The treaty is dust, Syraxa said. Her voice carried across the hall, sharp and final. And the elders did not control my choices. Murmurs filled the hall. Panic, excitement, fear. Ethan took a small step back. Maybe we should stop? Syraxa looked at him, and for the first time, her expression softened, not with seduction, but with something close to disappointment. Do you wish to stop? She asked. Ethan hesitated. I don't want to cause trouble. You are not causing it, she said. They are. She slowly turned to face the guards. You interrupt the ceremony. You disrespect my guest. You insult my choice. My lady, please, the guard begged. A human cannot handle. Before he finished speaking, Syraxa appeared in front of him. She didn't walk. She didn't dash. She simply appeared. Ethan blinked in shock. The whole hall gasped. The guard stumbled backward, tripping over himself. Syraxa's voice dropped to a whisper. Do not tell me what human can or cannot handle. You do not know him. She looked back toward Ethan, her expression fierce, protective. The guard trembled. Forgive me. We only fear for your safety. My safety is my concern, she replied. Not yours. The guards bowed deeply and retreated, visibly shaken. Syraxa returned to Ethan's side, moving with quiet grace. But now the atmosphere was different. The hall buzzed with energy, whispers, and rumors. Some guests stared at Ethan with new interest. Others looked fearful. Some even stepped farther away. Ethan rubbed the back of his neck. I guess that was dramatic. Syraxa's smile returned, small, mysterious, dangerous. Drama follows truth. And tonight, truth walks with you. What truth? Ethan asked. She leaned closer, her lips near his ear. That you are not as weak as they believe. Ethan blinked. I'm definitely weaker than most aliens. Syraxa only smiled and shook her head. Not where it matters. Before Ethan could ask what she meant, a loud horn echoed across the hall. The wedding ceremony was about to begin, and Syraxa's eyes glowed brighter, as if she already knew something Ethan didn't. Something dangerous. Something important. Something about him. As the deep horn echoed through the enormous crystal hall, every guest turned toward the glowing center platform. It slowly rose from the floor like a floating stage. The groom, Captain Ralvek, and his bride stood proudly beneath a shimmering arch made of living crystal vines. But Ethan barely saw any of it. He felt Lady Syraxa still watching him, even as the entire crowd focused on the ceremony. Her crimson eyes did not wander. Her attention stayed locked on him, studying his reactions, measuring his breathing, observing even the small twitch of his fingers. Ethan shifted uncomfortably. Why me? What did she see? Why is a powerful alien vampire queen interested in a regular human engineer? Syraxa finally turned her eyes toward the stage, but her expression remained unreadable, cold elegance wrapped in ancient mystery. The ceremony began. Soft glowing particles drifted from the ceiling like floating petals. The bride and groom exchanged vows in a melodic language Ethan couldn't understand, but the tone was peaceful and loving. The glowing arch responded to their voices, sending waves of light that rippled across the entire hall. It should have been beautiful. It should have been peaceful. But Ethan felt something else. A feeling he couldn't explain, like someone was watching him from far away. Not Syraxa. Not a guest. Something deeper. Something old. Something that felt like the gravity in the room, shifting ever so slightly. He rubbed his chest. Why do I feel weird? Syraxa answered without looking at him. Because the hall reacts to living energy. It answers to strength, emotion, and fear. So it reacts to me? Ethan asked. This time she did look at him. Yes. She didn't explain further. Ethan turned back to the ceremony, trying to focus. The groom lifted a glowing orb shaped like a star. The bride placed her hand over it. Light wrapped around them both, forming a bright spiral. Then, a sudden tremor shook the hall. Many guests gasped. The glowing arch flickered. The bride stumbled slightly, and Ralvek caught her. Ethan straightened. Was that supposed to happen? No, Saraxa whispered. Her eyes narrowed. Something is wrong. A cold breeze swept through the hall. The same kind of cold that followed the Vriller clan earlier. But this time, it felt heavier, like pressure building in the air. A sharp, high-pitched crack echoed from the far corner. One of the crystal walls split open. Gasps, screams, movement. Guards rushed forward, trying to shield the guests. Blue, silver, and insectoid aliens all backed away from the spreading crack. The shimmering wall tore like thin glass, and a dark mist leaked through. Ethan stepped back instinctively. What is that? Saraxa grabbed his wrist before he could move farther. Do not run. What? Why not? That thing looks dangerous. It is not the creature that concerns me, she said calmly. It is its target. Ethan's pulse spiked. Target? Another crack tore the wall open wider, and a tall figure pushed through the gap. It looked humanoid but shrouded in black smoke. Its shape shifted like a shadow with bones. Its eyes were empty, white, glowing, and cold. Guests panicked, running away from the center of the hall. Guards readied weapons. The creature ignored all of them. It looked straight at Ethan. Frozen by fear, Ethan stumbled backward. Why is it looking at me? I don't know that thing. Saraxa stepped in front of him. Her voice changed, lower, sharper, colder. Because it smells what I smelled earlier. What does that mean? It is drawn to your blood. Ethan's stomach dropped. My blood. Why? Saraxa didn't answer. The creature let out a chilling hiss. Crystals dimmed. Temperature dropped again. The dark mist spread like fog across the floor. A guard shouted, Protect the human! Move him! But Saraxa raised her hand sharply. Do not touch him. The guards froze, confused. One of them stuttered. My lady, the creature, is mine to deal with, she said. Her voice held such power the guards obeyed instantly. Saraxa stepped forward, the shadows curling around her feet, but never touching her skin. The creature snarled and swung a long, smoky claw toward her. Saraxa didn't move. The claw hit an invisible barrier and shattered into mist. The hall gasped. Saraxa finally spoke directly to the creature. You dare break into a sacred ceremony? You dare reach for something under my protection? The creature hissed, but its eyes kept flicking back toward Ethan. Saraxa's expression hardened. He is not yours. She snapped her fingers. The temperature in the hall dropped even lower. So cold, Ethan saw frost forming on the floor. A dark aura rose around Saraxa, like black flames swirling behind her. Her eyes glowed brighter, burning with a deep crimson light. For the first time, Ethan truly understood what she was. Not just a noblewoman, not just a powerful alien. Something ancient, something feared, something that did not need fangs to be terrifying. Saraxa lifted her hand slowly. The creature froze in place as if trapped. You should not have come here, she whispered. With a swift motion, she clenched her fist. The creature imploded into dust and vanished. Silence fell. The hall remained frozen in shock at what they just witnessed. Ethan stared at her in disbelief. You saved me. Saraxa turned, her glow fading, her expression calm once more. No, she said softly. I protected what is mine. Ethan blinked. What yours? What does that mean? Saraxa stepped closer. It means your life now stands at the center of something far older and more dangerous than this wedding. Ethan's voice shook. Why me? I'm just a human. Her eyes softened, only a little. That is the mystery. She looked toward the broken wall, then toward the glowing arch. The hunt has begun, she whispered, and you human are the reason. The hall remained silent after the shadow creature vanished. Guests stared at the empty space where it stood, whispering in fear. The wedding ceremony was paused. Guards spread out across the edges of the room, and the glowing arch dimmed until it produced only a faint, nervous shimmer. Ethan felt numb. His hands trembled. His breath came in fast waves, and his chest still ached with confusion. Why him? Why had that monster come directly toward him? And why did Saraxa keep saying things that made no sense? She stepped toward him again, her presence calm but intense, as if she were choosing her next words very carefully. "Ethan," she said softly, "show me your hand." "My hand?" he asked. "Why?" "Because I need to see something." Ethan hesitated, but slowly lifted his right hand. It still shook. Saraxa took it gently, turning his palm upward. Her cold fingers traced along the skin, and then she stopped. A mark had formed, small, circular, glowing faintly red, like a burn but without pain. Ethan stared at it, confused. "What is that?" he whispered. Saraxa's eyes narrowed. "It is a signal." "A signal for what?" She looked into his eyes, and for a moment, Ethan could almost see conflict inside her, a struggle between truth and secrecy. But she gave him the truth. "It is a blood mark," she said. "A very old one." Ethan's heart tightened. "What does that mean?" "It means the creature did not come for you by accident. It came because someone or something marked your blood long before night." Ethan shook his head. "No, that's impossible. I'm human. I grew up on Earth. I don't have alien marks in my blood." Saraxa's voice stayed calm. "You do now." He pulled his hand back, almost stumbling. "I don't understand." Saraxa touched the center of the glowing mark lightly, and Ethan felt a warm pulse, like a heartbeat that wasn't his own. "This is no ordinary mark," she said quietly. "It is only supposed to appear on certain bloodlines. Ancient ones. Dangerous ones." "I don't have an ancient bloodline," Ethan insisted. "My family is just normal." Saraxa's eyes sharpened, and yet this mark appeared. Before Ethan could speak, Captain Ralvek approached. The groom still wore his ceremonial clothing, though it was wrinkled and shaken from the interruption. His usually calm blue skin was pale with fear. "Lady Saraxa," Ralvek said, "the elders demand you release the human to our medical staff." Saraxa turned slowly, her expression cold. "No." Ralvek tried to stay brave. "My lady," the creature went straight for him. The hall reacted to him. "The mark on his palm, this concerns the council." "It concerns me," Saraxa corrected, "and the Vriller clan." Rough murmurs rose among the nearby guests. Ralvek swallowed nervously. "With respect, my lady, you have no claim over the human. He is." She stepped toward him, lowering her voice. "Do you want another creature burst through your wedding wall and tear your guests apart?" Ralvek stiffened. "No." "Then do not order me," she said, "because I am the only one in this hall capable of protecting him." Ethan swallowed hard. Protection? From what? More of those creatures? Or something even worse? Saraxa turned back to Ethan. Her voice softened again. "We need to leave this hall," she said. "Now." Ethan blinked. "Leave? In the middle of a wedding?" "This wedding is already broken," she replied. "And you cannot stay in a crowded place. The next creature will come stronger than the first." Ethan froze. "Next creature?" Saraxa nodded. "That one was only a scout." A cold wave rushed through Ethan's chest. A scout. The first one. So more were coming, and stronger ones. Around them, guards worked to secure the hall, but Ethan could tell they were scared. Even Ralvek looked unsure what to do. Saraxa extended her hand again. "Come," she said. "You must leave the building, and I must take you somewhere safe." Ethan stared at her hand. Cold, elegant, dangerous. A lifeline and a risk at the same time. "Where would you take me?" he asked quietly. "To a place where the mark can be studied and where creatures cannot follow," she answered. Ethan hesitated. "And what if I don't want to go with you?" Saraxa's face shifted. Just a little. Not anger, but something like regret. "If you stay here," she said, "you will die." The simplicity of her words hit harder than any threat could. Ethan took a shaky breath. "Why do you care? You barely know me." Saraxa looked straight into his eyes. "You are marked," she said. "And those who are marked become part of Vriller fate." Ethan blinked. "Vriller fate?" It means, she whispered, your life is now tied to ours. A sudden crash echoed from the damaged wall, louder and deeper than before. Alien guards shouted. Guests fled. The lights flickered again. Syrax's hand remained extended. Human, she said firmly, this is your last moment to choose. Ethan looked at the chaos breaking around the hall, at the crack forming a second time, at the terrified faces, at the crimson-eyed woman who had just saved his life twice. He placed his hand into hers. Syraxa tightened her grip. Good. She pulled him toward the side exit just as another monstrous roar shook the hall, far louder than the first creature's. Ethan didn't look back. He didn't want to see what was coming next. Syraxa moved fast, much faster than Ethan expected. One moment they were inside the glowing wedding hall, and the next they were slipping through a side corridor that twisted like a living tunnel. The walls pulsed with dim red veins, and every pulse seemed to match the rhythm of Ethan's racing heartbeat. Behind them, the hall exploded with noise. Screams, cracks, roars. The second creature had arrived. Ethan tried not to imagine what it looked like. He just ran. Syraxa didn't let go of his hand, pulling him with a strange mix of strength and gentleness, like she was guiding something fragile but important. Stay close, she said. Do not fall behind. I'm trying. Ethan gasped. But you're moving like a jet. Syraxa didn't slow down. The creature is close. I can smell it. That's not comforting. They rounded a corner. Another corridor opened into an empty balcony that overlooked the alien moon city of Trivera. The sky was filled with floating towers, glowing bridges, and drifting lightships. But tonight, everything looked dark. Shadows crawling between structures, lights flickering nervously. Ethan had no time to admire it. A deafening roar shook the entire balcony. Syraxa whirled around instantly. A huge shadow burst through the corridor behind them. It was twice the size of the first creature, arms long and sharp like blades, eyes burning white, mist swirling from its shoulders. Its shape was less humanoid now and more like a monster trying desperately to hold itself together. Ethan froze. What is that? Syraxa pushed him behind her. A hunter. A hunter of what? Of bloodlines. Ethan's mouth went dry. My blood. The creature screeched, shaking the metal balcony. Syraxa's eyes glowed crimson in response. Stay back, she ordered. Ethan didn't argue. The hunter lunged. Syraxa didn't move at first. She watched it, judging the angle, the speed, the shape of its attack. Then, in a blur, she shot forward. Her hand sliced through the air, creating a ripple like a shock wave. The hunter's arm shattered into mist as it swung. The creature recoiled, screeching in agony. Ethan held onto the railing tightly. She's fighting that thing alone. For me. Why? The hunter recovered quickly, spreading its mist outward like wings. It rushed forward again. Syraxa grabbed its head with one hand and forced it to the ground, cracking the balcony floor. Ethan had no idea how someone so elegant could be so terrifyingly strong. The hunter shrieked and dissolved into shadow, sinking into the cracks. Ethan panicked. Where'd it go? Where is it? Move! Syraxa commanded. She grabbed his arm again and pulled him toward a glowing transport pad on the balcony. The circular platform hummed as she slammed her hand against its controls. The hunter exploded from the floor just as the platform activated. It lunged. Syraxa wrapped one arm around Ethan protectively. The world turned into streaks of light. They teleported. They materialized inside a dim room made of stone and crystal. Ethan stumbled dizzy. What was that? He gasped. A jump gate, Syraxa said. Short-range teleportation, but safe for now. Ethan looked around. Where are we? A Vriller outpost, she replied. One of mine. The room was circular, lit by cold violet flames. Carved pillars rose like frozen claws. Symbols shone on the walls, ancient, sharp, beautiful, and unsettling. Ethan shivered. Syraxa, why are they after me? What did I do? Syraxa turned toward him, her expression calmer now, but still tense. You did nothing, she said, but something inside you did. Inside me? Ethan raised his hands helplessly. I'm human. Nothing inside me is special. I get tired from stares. Syraxis stepped closer, not threatening, but intense. Her eyes searched his face again, then the mark on his palm. Humans are not simple, she said. Not as the galaxy believes. Ethan frowned. You mean we're tougher than we look? Yes. She paused. And sometimes rarer. Ethan blinked. Rarer? Like rare humans? Rare bloodlines. Syraxa corrected. Ethan felt his stomach twist. Are you telling me I'm part alien? No, Syraxa said. Human blood is purer. But sometimes a human is born with a resonance. Resonance? What does that even mean? It means your blood carries an echo, an ancient signature that reacts to power. Very few humans ever show it. Maybe 1 in a billion. And that makes creatures chase me. It makes them desperate for you. Ethan stepped back. Why? Syraxa finally said the word she had been avoiding. Because a human with resonance can either bring balance. She lifted her hand, tracing a faint line across the air, or destruction. Ethan felt cold. I can't destroy anything. I can barely fix a broken engine part without checking a manual. Syraxa shook her head softly. You do not understand what you carry. He pressed a hand over the glowing mark. This thing, it makes everything worse. Syraxa nodded. And it will grow stronger. Ethan sat down on a stone bench, his mind spinning. So what now? Syraxa looked toward the entrance of the chamber. We prepare, she said, because more hunters will come. More. Many more. Ethan groaned. Great. Wonderful. Perfect. Syraxa stepped closer, kneeling so she was eye level with him. You are not alone, she said. I will protect you. You are under Vriller's shield now. Ethan looked at her. Why? Why protect me at all? This time she didn't look away. Because, she said quietly, your life may determine the future of more than one world. Ethan swallowed. I didn't ask for that. Fate does not ask, Syraxa replied. A deep rumble shook the outpost. Dust fell from the ceiling. Ethan's eyes widened. Don't tell me. Syraxa stood sharply. They followed the teleport. The rumbling grew louder. Stay behind me, she said. The doors began to crack. The music changed again, but this time was slower, deeper, almost ancient. It felt like the sound came from the bones of the ground itself. Every alien paused, turning their heads as if they sensed something powerful awakening in the hall. The lights dimmed and soft violet flames appeared inside crystal lanterns along the walls. Even Commander Vorik stopped talking and bowed his head. Even the Empress lowered her gaze. Even Princess Aurelia took a quiet breath, as if preparing for something important. Only Daniel stood confused. Elira, Daniel whispered softly, what's happening now? Elira looked at him the same way she had looked earlier when he first touched the gravity controller, as if he had no idea what was coming. This, she said, is the eternal bond dance. The words meant nothing to Daniel until he saw the reactions around him. Aliens who looked fearless before now stood still. Others who had laughed loudly earlier now stayed silent. Every vampire-born alien in the hall stared at Daniel, and Elira with glowing eyes. Daniel swallowed. Is this bad? Elira smiled gently. Not bad, but serious. Very serious. Before he could ask more, the Empress lifted her hand. The hall grew quiet, completely silent. No talking. No whispering. Nothing except the low hum of the music. Her voice echoed through the chamber. Tonight, the Empress announced, we witness a rare moment. A moment not seen for more than 300 cycles. A human and a vampire born, standing together on the sacred floor. Daniel felt every eye in the room burn into him. But Elira didn't look nervous at all. She stepped closer and took his hand again, her touch steady and warm. Just follow me, she whispered. Daniel nodded, though inside his chest his heart felt like it was trying to fight its way out. The Empress continued speaking. The eternal bond dance is not a promise, but a question of trust. Her glowing purple eyes focused on Daniel. Do you trust her human? Daniel looked at Elira. The woman who had held his hand when the hall stared at him. The woman who had stepped between him and danger earlier. The woman who had defended him against her own commanding officer. "Yes," he said without hesitation. "I trust her." The hall gasped. Even Alira blinked in surprise. Quiet, soft surprise, like she didn't expect his answer to be so strong. The Empress gave a small, knowing smile. "Then begin." Alira stepped forward and guided Daniel toward the center of the hall, where a glowing circle appeared on the floor, a ring of pulsing violet light, spiraling slowly like a living thing. Daniel's voice dropped to a whisper. "Are we going to be okay?" Alira squeezed his hand. "Yes, as long as you do what you always do." "And what's that?" he asked. "You stay human," she said with a smile. "Brave, honest, unpredictable." Daniel exhaled slowly. "Unpredictable I can do." "Good," Alira said. "Then dance with me." The music swelled. Alien instruments, some made of crystal, others made of bone, played a rhythm that felt ancient and sacred, but still strangely familiar, like a heartbeat. Alira lifted Daniel's hand and placed it on her waist. Her other hand slid into his, her fingers cool and soft. Then she stepped closer, her violet eyes glowing brighter than before. For a moment, Daniel forgot the hall, forgot the danger, forgot every question. All he saw was her. "All right," he murmured. "Lead the way." Alira stepped gracefully, spiraling around him, guiding him with smooth movements. Daniel followed as best he could. His steps were clumsy, but his determination strong. Every time he stumbled, she softly corrected his motion, smiling when he got it right. Slowly, the glowing circle on the floor brightened beneath their feet, reacting to their steps. Each time Daniel trusted Alira's lead, the light pulsed brighter. Each time he hesitated, it dimmed. Commander Vorik whispered from the side, "Impossible. A human should never synchronize this quickly." The Empress responded calmly. "That is why the galaxy misunderstands humans. They see weakness, but they forget the human heart." Daniel and Alira continued dancing, the rhythm becoming faster, more complex. But the strangest thing happened. Daniel stopped thinking and simply moved with her. It felt natural, almost as if they had danced together before in another lifetime. Alira's voice was low, only for Daniel to hear. "You're doing well." Daniel breathed out a shaky laugh. "I don't even know what I'm doing." "You're trusting me," she said. "That is enough." And then, as the final part of the dance began, Alira drew closer, so close Daniel could feel her breath against his neck. She lifted their joined hands, spun gracefully, and returned to him with her forehead touching his. The glowing circle beneath them erupted into bright violet light. Gasps spread through the hall. Commander Vorik froze. Princess Aurelia covered her mouth. The Empress exhaled softly, her expression amazed. Daniel blinked. "What did we just do?" Alira looked into his eyes, her expression soft, but filled with something deeper. "We completed the eternal bond dance," she said. "Together." "What does that mean?" he asked. Alira's voice softened. "It means, Daniel, you and I are now connected in a way that cannot be broken. Not by rank, not by tradition, not even by our blood." Daniel felt his heart skip. "Oh," he whispered, "that sounds big." Alira smiled. "It is." And around them, the entire hall bowed. Not to Alira, not to the Empress, to them both. The glowing circle slowly faded beneath Daniel and Alira's feet, but the attention of the entire hall stayed locked on them. No one spoke. No one moved. It was as if the whole room held its breath, waiting for what happened next. Daniel swallowed hard. He had not planned any of this. He just wanted to be polite at a strange alien wedding. Now he had completed something called the Eternal Bond Dance, something even the aliens treated with fear and respect. Alira finally stepped back, though she kept one of Daniel's hands held gently in hers, as if letting go would break something fragile. The Empress floated forward, her long dark robes shifting like smoke. "In all my years," she said softly, "I have never seen an eternal bond form so quickly and so naturally." Her glowing purple eyes moved between Daniel and Alira. This is no accident. This is fate. Daniel almost laughed, partly from nervousness, partly from disbelief. Fate? Me? I'm just a guy from Earth. I don't know anything about your traditions. But you know loyalty, the Empress replied, and courage, and trust. These are stronger than any tradition. A faint sound came from the side, Commander Vorik clearing his throat. He looked uncomfortable, maybe even humbled. He stepped forward and bowed slightly to Daniel. Human, he said stiffly. I judged you too quickly. Today you earn my respect. Daniel blinked. Thanks. Even Princess Aurelia approached, her shimmering wings curling softly behind her. You dance with honesty, she said. Your heart showed clearly. My cousin chose well. Alira's cheeks darkened in a faint violet blush. Daniel felt awkward and out of place. So what happens now? Am I in trouble? Am I part of something? The Empress folded her hands. A bond is not a marriage. It is not a demand. It is a connection. It means your lives have touched in a way that cannot be ignored. Alira spoke softly, eyes still on Daniel. It means that if you ever need me, I will come, even from across galaxies. Daniel felt his chest tighten, not from fear, but from something warm, something he didn't fully understand yet. I appreciate that, he said quietly. But, the Empress continued, the question remains not about the bond, but about your future. Daniel straightened. My future? Yes, she said. You have impressed our people. And now many here will ask, should a human stay? Should he join our exploration fleet? Should he represent Earth? Should he return home with honor? Daniel slowly looked around the hall. Alien faces, different shapes, different colors, watched him. Some curious, some respectful, some hopeful. But the pair of eyes that held him the strongest were Alira's. She didn't speak. She didn't try to convince him. She waited. Daniel finally found his voice. Alira, what do you want me to do? Alira stepped closer, her gaze gentle. Daniel, you must choose for yourself. He knew she was telling the truth. She wasn't asking for him to stay or go. She wasn't begging or hiding her feelings. She was giving him the freedom to choose. So Daniel took a deep breath. I want to stay, he said. The hall gasped again. Daniel continued, voice steady. I want to learn more about your world. I want to understand your people. And if I'm being honest, I want to see where this bond leads. Alira's violet eyes softened, bright with emotion she didn't need to hide. A small, real smile appeared on her lips. I'm glad, she whispered. The Empress spread her hands. Then it is decided. The human will remain among us as an honored guest and a representative of Earth. Commander Vorik nodded. I will prepare quarters. Human quarters, with adjustable gravity this time. A ripple of laughter moved through the hall. But the moment was not finished. The music changed again, light, joyful notes filling the air. The wedding resumed, full of energy. But now, people approached Daniel with respect, tapping his shoulder, greeting him, bowing politely. For the first time since he entered the alien city, Daniel felt truly welcome. Alira leaned toward him. You handled that well. Handled what? He asked. Everything. Daniel laughed quietly. I still don't know what's going on most of the time. That's all right, she said. The galaxy is big. Confusion is part of the journey. He looked at her. And you? Are you part of the journey too? Alira hesitated for only a second, then gently reached for his hand. Yes, she said, if you want me to be. Daniel squeezed her hand lightly. I do. The hall around them glowed brighter, celebrating a wedding, but unknowingly celebrating the beginning of something else too. A new bond, a new friendship, maybe something deeper, a human and a vampire-born woman. Dancing at the edge of two worlds. Daniel looked up at the alien stars shining through the crystal ceiling. He whispered to himself, I guess coming to this wedding wasn't such a bad idea after all. Alira heard him and smiled. The night is still young, Daniel, and your new life has only just begun. And with that, she pulled him gently back toward the dance floor. Together, they stepped forward, toward music, toward light, toward the unknown. But this time, Daniel wasn't afraid. Not with her beside him.